Based on the title of today's video, this is sort of a multi-purpose wood turning. One thing it is if you're new to wood turning, this is a pretty good thing to start with. It's going to be what we'd call a beginner's bowl. It's going to be a very pretty bowl, and it should be pretty easy to do. If you're into craft shows, this should make a pretty good profit for you because it's very easy to do and it's going to be very pretty. The other thing is, if you forgot to get that gift that you planned on getting, you could make this really quick. It'll be very pretty and people will be happy with it. So I'm going to get set up and show you what we have going on. One of the easiest ways to mount a blank for turning is a worm screw. But because this is fairly thin, it's only 1 3/16 inches thick, that worm screw would go through. So I've got this 1/2 inch plywood disc on here that sticks out about 1/2 inch. I drilled a hole about 9/16. We're not going to go through the bottom. So this is a good way to mount it. Plus this plate will help square things up. Also, because this might be one of your first things you turn, you might be concerned about trying to turn those corners away. When you get a lot of experience, you'll see that that's really not hard to turn this while it's square and cut the corners off. But I don't want to do that on this particular one because we're sort of talking about this like it might be in your early stages of wood turning. I'm going to get this marked and I'll cut the corners off and then we'll get going. Well, I cut most of the corners off, and to get this on the worm screw is pretty easy. Hold some pressure against it, start turning, and it'll grab. It's kind of self-tapping. I've already had it on, so it's going to be pretty easy. But that's what it takes to do. I'm not going to use the tailstock support. This is pretty small. It should be fine. That's on there tight. If you're not comfortable, by all means, use the tailstock support. I kind of have my own reason why I'm doing something simple today. I'm working on another turning that's made from the same sapele and Pacific Coast maple, and I just don't want to rush it, so I decided to do something simple. So it's another reason to do simple turnings. And I'm looking at that right now sitting on my bench. It's outside's completed. I think you're really going to like it. It really looks cool. If you're not subscribed and you want to see that, make sure you do that because I think you're going to like this. I'm going to sharpen up my 1/2 inch bowl gouge and we will start putting a shape on here. Okay, time to put some shape on it. And this circle doesn't represent the actual shape. It's just a guide. I don't want to go that direction yet until we get the sides flattened out. And then we'll actually put a shape on it. Sharpened up the 1/2 inch bowl gouge, about 975 RPM. A little more fillet area right there. Well, I think that's about all we can do. It's time to sand, and that shouldn't take very long. I'll show you 2 different ways that I sand pieces this size in this shape. One is with the 2 inch disc, lathe running in reverse, about 400. This is 120 grit. So I find anything with this shape and this size, I can sand it just as good, if not better, with sheets of paper like this. And get down in that radius, really blend it nice. So that's all there is to sanding this. I'm going to show you how I get this flipped around right now. I'll finish the sanding when it's already flipped around. This is so shallow, there's no way I'd be able to put a tenon on here. There would be nothing left. If I put a recess in there, I won't be able to get down as far as I'd like to. So one way I really like doing it is using a tenon that I hot glue on. So I'll show you that. That's how I do it. It's just an easy way on a thin turning and on other types of turnings. This is one of the tenons that I make, and I make quite a few. I use them for all kinds of things. What I do is I close the jaws on the chuck. I put the wood against the jaws, not inside. Put the live center up against it. I'll turn the tenon on, and I may rough this out. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. This just needs to fit your jaws when you turn it around, and that needs to be flat. I'll put it on that same mark that the live center made when I made the tenon, and I'll just go around it with hot glue like this. You could also use brown paper and glue and pop it off, or if you want to turn it off later, you could just glue it onto here. This is mostly so I don't lose any wood on the bottom, and especially on a thin one, because I don't have enough wood to cut a tenon in there or a recess. Okay, we're going to let that cool down and get nice and hard. We'll flip it around and finish the turning. I took it off the worm screw. I've got it flipped around. I'm going to put it in the chuck. And a good idea is to bring up your tailstock and put a little bit of pressure against it and then tighten it up. That makes sure that it's square up against the face of the jaws. Now let's see how it runs. Runs good. I'm not going to use the tailstock for this. I think my gouge is still sharp. I didn't cut all that much with it. So let's go ahead and get this hollowed out, and we'll be pretty much finished. Okay, I'm just going to look down and see the outside wall and try to keep it parallel to that. Well, that's not bad all along there, about 1/4 of an inch. So if I drill that hole right, it should be a good indicator about how much I have left on the bottom. The fact that I can reach the flat part of the bottom makes it easy to see how much stock I have here. I still have about 3/8 there. Sounds a lot less here. That's real close, and that actually goes deeper here, so I don't think I want to take any more off of that. I think we can take some off of this just for looks. And we're going to taper this outside down for looks as well. I think we're pretty much finished, except for some sanding. I'm going to go ahead and get the inside sanded. It's going to be pretty simple. I think I can do it all with the 2-inch disc, starting at 100 and working my way up to 400. We'll come back and put a very simple finish on this. Okay, here's our first look with finish on it. Pretty nice. And this is shellac based sanding sealer. That is going to be pretty. So I'll probably put maybe one more coat of this on, and then we're going to wax it up. Sticking with this simple theme here, I have 2 thin coats of shellac based sanding sealer on it. I'm going to buff that out with this white abrasive pad. So that's already a really nice finish. I'll use the Axe abrasive paste on it. Alright, that is very smooth and it looks great. I'm going to go one more step and use the polish restoring paste. I have a video showing how I use the abrasive and polishing paste. I'll put a link in the description for that video. I'm doing the back side off camera so you can see this a lot better. I'm also going to let this sit for about 15 minutes and I'll come back out and buff it. That's been about 30 or 40 minutes. It's time to buff it out. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Love that grain. I'm going to get it out of the chuck and we'll have to get that tenon removed. Yeah, look at this. Look at that grain. Isn't that something? So there's the back side. I waxed it up as well. I'm going to put some denatured alcohol on that wax and we'll let it sit for a while and we'll just pop it off. Well, I'm back now and I know that that hot glue is going to release. And I can tell you exactly how long the denatured alcohol sat. Because I decided to take this inside, sit in front of my computer and watch Phil's latest video. So now and then I would just put some on there. The video finished, I decided to test it just by pushing down here like that, and I can see it's loose. See that? It is loose. And I'm coming down this way instead of under there so I don't scrape the wood. But you can see it's loose. Just like so. It's off. If you do this, don't get in a hurry. It'll eventually come off. It doesn't have to happen right away. You can go watch Phil's video or you can watch my video and it'll be loose, like so. I'm going to go ahead and get this sanded up and signed and get a finish on it, and we'll be back and we'll have a real good look at this. Well, here it is. Just look at that grain in that sapele. It is just amazing. Beautiful wood. Here's the underside. It finished 6 1/4 inches in diameter. It's 1 3/16 inch tall, and the walls are 1/4 of an inch. I used 2 coats of Zinsser Seal Coat, and then I went over it with Abrasive paste and polish, and that's what gave it that beautiful finish. Really looks nice. It's a small bowl, but I thought of a couple of uses for it. It'd be good for M&Ms, and if you wanted to have it in a sewing room, it'd be good for pins and needles, because both of those are kind of hard to get out this way, so you could just slide them out like that. Pretty easy. But I really needed to make something quick and easy, and this fit the bill perfectly, because I didn't have time to finish my complex segmented turning, and I never rush myself on those, so I did this. It was quick and easy, like I said, but that segmented turning will be coming soon. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you're interested at all in seeing my upcoming crazy segmented turning and you're not subscribed, consider doing so and you will be notified. And for all you current subscribers, thank you very much. So till the next time, see you later.